It was Bob Marley that once said, "In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty." Welcome to Out of the Box podcast. Once again, I am your regular host, Brother Gabriel Ishmael Jalo. Today, I have two fascinating gentlemen. We are about to discuss a very thorough topic. We want to find out if it is actually the government of Africa that are responsible for the hunger in Africa. We are saying that because Africa has the highest extremely poverty rate globally, with 23 out of the 28 poorest country in the world. And besides, 30% of those Africans are below the $1.90 dollar per day. Africa is extremely poor that even 35% of them cannot afford a daily meal. Welcome once again to the Out of the Board podcast. Enjoy yourself, sit comfortably as we're about to digest this all-important subject. With me here again, I have two eminent personalities from the social fraternity. Both of them are movie actors. And let me turn to the one right, my left hand. My brother, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel.
Yeah, welcome. And he is Brother Samson Erejua from Nigeria. And as usual, I have the controversial anti-religious entrepreneur and a sensational actor, Brother George. Brother George, welcome to the house.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And greetings to your viewers.
Brother George,
Yeah.
Relative to my introduction, and I want you to give us your view about this very, very critical topic or subject.
All right, Mr. Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
Once again, I greet you and I greet your cherished viewers. First of all, you made a statement that actually got me angry. But for the love of the culture, I will not show my anger. Africa is not poor.
Okay.
You said Africa is poor, and you said Africa is... Those things are things you see in mainstream media. When you search Google, ChatGPT, those are the things that tell you that Africa is not poor. Africa is not poor.
Africa is not poor,
We are not poor.
but Africa is rich.
Africa is rich. Africa is even the richest continent on planet Earth. So Africa is not poor.
Viewers, let's try to understand his angle. The people are saying that out of the 28 poorest country in the world, Africa has 25. Only 3 in Afghanistan, in North Korea, and in Bangladesh. But our brother is saying that Africa is not poor at all. Let's understand it.
On what ground was this statistics even written? How can Africa, with all the natural resources, be poor? We are only just being... Africa is being extorted. Okay? Don't censor my words. Put it the way I say it. Africa is being extorted. Africa is not poor. Who wrote these statistics? On what basis do you write Africa as the poorest country? The richest country in the world according to PPP, not GDP. Is it not Nigeria or something? So how is Africa one of the out of 25 or how many you say? And you're saying 25 is from Africa. No, yes. It's time we stop these people from riding on us. Yeah. Africa is not poor.
Yeah, but I think when you look at the angle of poverty they are deriving from,
what is that angle?
You cannot feed yourself. You have a fertile land. You cannot feed yourself.
Why did they weaponize hunger against Africans? Why should hunger be weaponized against Africans? We have arable lands, far vaster than Europe and America put together.
Okay.
Okay?
But is it the political class that is responsible
Of course it is the
for us
political
not to
class.
farm, or is it the citizens
It's not the
who
citizens,
believe
my
that
brother.
they have to go to office and get a necktie and have? Are they giving credence to farming or not?
Oh God, they are not giving enough credence to farmers in Africa, so to say. All right. Even in Africa, with you made a starting statement that Bob Marley said what?
Yes, in the abundance of water, the food
But do
is
you know that the
thirsty.
farmers even lack access to water that they can use to water their farmlands?
For irrigation.
For irrigation, my brother, yes. I know it might be sounding crazy, it might be sounding unbelievable, but that is the fact. You get it? If you go to some areas in Nigeria where they are the food chain of the country, there is a lot of insecurity over there. Okay? And you can't tell me that the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Army, for instance, cannot combat these guys. I mean, they don't have the training that the Nigerian Army have. You know, I come from a family where I have friends and brothers who are in the uniform area of Nigeria. I know the kind of training these guys go through. You get it? And the other guys in the negative part doesn't have what it takes to combat the military. So why is it that things are not being, the right things are not being done?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much,
no
Brother
problem.
George. I'll be turning over to my brother Samuel. I am in pain, Samson. I'm in pain because my country, Sierra Leone, is 8 million populated nation. We have rice, we have cassava, we have millet, we have cashew, we have rubber, we have ginger, we have varieties of vegetable, fruit, sugarcane, cocoa, coffee, palm oil, and we have huge amounts of livestock. But what are we not doing that we are still counted among the poorest? And I know Nigeria is even the big brother of West Africa. What will Brother Samson tell us that is causing the defects in Africa, that we are always listed among the poorest and the hungriest?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel. It's an honor to be at this your Out of the Box podcast.
Yes, sir.
You see, first of all, I will agree with my brother when he said he's angry about you saying Africa is poor.
So we are not poor.
Yes, because we are not poor. Because actually, what we are discussing is about the hunger in the system. The fact that there is hunger in the system does not mean we are poor.
Okay.
So I think we should see from a different side of a different.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
there should be a disconnect.
Yes,
between poverty and hunger. But I'm thinking that when somebody is hungry, he must have been a poor person.
Yes, but we are talking about the continent or the country in
The
general.
continent of Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you talk about the continent or the
West
country in particular, you cannot name it as poor.
Okay.
But because of inflation or one or two things that are not right in the system, there can be hunger, there can be inflation, just like I said.
Okay.
Which are the problems we are trying to emphasize on?
Okay.
Okay, now we are trying to say, is it the government that is responsible for the hunger
people
in the system?
Or the people
that is responsible?
Yes.
Now my take is that the government is not fully responsible.
The government is not fully
responsible.
Wow. Yes. There's a departure between Brother George and Brother Samson, but let's listen to his angle.
Okay. So now coming to my point, when I say the government cannot be held responsible 100%, for a person, I have seen fertilizers brought to local government councils in Nigeria.
Okay. For my viewers, what is local government council in Nigeria?
Local government council is same thing as how they call it, the district, municipal district, and county in the US. Yes, that is local government.
Okay.
Now, before this fertilizers gets to the local government, it must have passed through the federal government to the state government, then to the local government.
Okay.
Now, my concern about this wastage that I'm talking about at the local government council is that the agricultural sector has done its own part in providing these fertilizers, and also done its own part to take them as far to the local government councils.
Okay.
Now there are cases where people don't even subscribe to these incentives.
Okay.
Not just fertilizers, because I'm just taking fertilizer for example, because that is what I saw.
As a case study.
That is what I saw
Okay.
myself.
Yeah.
Now the issue of hunger comes to the part of the citizens not involving in the agriculture.
Oh, you mean the citizen by themselves despise agriculture. They don't factor at agriculture.
That is where hunger grows from.
Oh wow.
Because the fact that you need to buy everything you eat makes inflation to affect you to the extent that you complain of hunger.
Okay.
Now the countries that don't complain of hunger, some of them, they produce a lot of these things they export to us.
Okay.
Not as a company, just like you say, why is the government not building companies and employing people? Now, if you come to for rice, for example, we are importing rice on a daily basis.
So that is serious.
We are importing rice on a daily basis. Now, if we take rice, for example, the countries that supplies us this rice, they don't sell to local citizens. Rather, they buy from these local citizens as the government and process to sell as exportation.
Now, let me understand.
Yes.
These countries that we import this rice from, which is our staple food.
Yes.
They instead buy from their local
citizens.
Oh wow.
Now there's no citizen that doesn't have that rice in their backyard or in a big farm. So every citizen, for example, in Thailand is involved in this rice production.
In Thailand?
Yes.
Okay.
Is involved in rice production. That by making that rice itself in excess already. Now if you go to places in Nigeria where they produce gari, that is cassava production, you cannot say people there they are hungry, because there is excess of production and even to exportation.
So that means the area in Nigeria where you have gari is cassava,
yes.
And this cassava can be flakes, and it is very, very, very delicious.
Gari.
So he's saying that the places where you have majority production of that gari,
yes.
The people don't talk about hunger.
Mm-hmm.
Because they drink gari.
Because no, whatever way you can use it, because even when you not have it in excess, you not sell some to buy what you need. Just like our forefathers, they did trade by barter.
Okay.
Because if you are able to produce something, you cannot complain of hunger, because that thing you are producing is definitely needed by some other persons.
Thank you very much.
Which will generate for you. Now, when they talk, there's something I want to make very clear.
Yes.
Sometimes when you talk about food, sometimes the arrow is always channeled to agricultural sector.
Okay.
Agricultural Ministry of Agriculture or Commission of Agriculture or agricultural
that arm of government.
Yeah, that arm of government. That's where you want to centralize on.
Yes.
But there's something I want our viewers to know.
Yeah.
When you talk about food, food has to be produced by a farmer.
Yeah.
But the farmer cannot carry it to the city.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
And
welcome to my hood.
A farmer cannot set the price range in a way to be favorable to the farmers.
Okay.
Rather, even the middlemen will try to trample on the farmers.
Okay.
But it's all now when you now look at all these factors that are supposed to necessitate the process of agriculture to be able to cover food production in a country.
Sure.
There are some other places. That's where we come to transportation.
So that means at time when we talk about agriculture,
Yeah.
we divorce the fact of transporting and other factors.
And not just transportation, even the Ministry of Information has a lot to do in agriculture. Yes, we have to understand that all the ministries are connected. Sometimes we just try to figure out try to blame a particular ministry over the lapses in that ministry. But sometimes it's not like that, because there are farmers in the village where they produce things, and the things have to just get wasted because there's no way to remove them from that local area.
But Ashanti has
place where they can be used and produce some other things.
You understand my some knowledge in farming.
So,
Brother George, it's like your angle initially and attacking me for
saying
Africa is poor, attacking me for tagging Africa as a poor continent. And our brother is saying that we have to divide the responsibility both to the government and to the people. What do you say?
Okay, thank you very much. I was listening to him. I know this is not a debate, but I want to make something clear here. He made a very important point by saying that some areas, where the Gary is excess, they don't struggle, they don't complain of hunger. All right, but I can assure you that there was a time, even getting Gary was like mining for gold in those areas. He's saying
Never.
So Gary was like a gold mine.
Gary was like a gold mine.
Okay.
And he trended in the internet. Every content creator in Nigeria, you see him creating content about Gary. Because Gary was the only thing there.
I disagree with that. The only time, just let me make something straight. The only time there was scarcity of Gary, thereby causing inflation of price of Gary, was also as a result of transportation issue when there was rise in fuel price.
Whose fault was
Now
that?
bringing that Gary from the village to the places where they are needed for sales, added cost.
Exactly.
So that making the price of Gary
whose fault was
So the
that?
spike of the petrol
yes.
makes it difficult for the consumer.
Yes.
Thank
That is
you.
why I want
Thank
the point
you.
to be clear that
Yes,
agricultural
thank you.
section
You made it
should
clear.
not be
It's
blamed
okay.
fully.
He is saying that the responsibility should not be levied primarily on the government.
Okay, I'm coming.
Yes,
I'm coming.
yes.
Well, let's assume when you were graduating, you graduated with maybe, I don't know how it's being graded in your people. Okay, let's forget that. Just come in percentage.
Okay.
Let's assume that you have 80%, responsibility over something,
Okay.
and I have 20% responsibility over that very thing, and that thing fails. Who takes the larger blame?
Those that steers the affairs of
Is it those that have the 80% responsibility, or those that have 20% responsibility that takes the blame?
Yes, I think he's talking about.
No, I'm just asking a question. You have to answer, and I will continue.
Yes, those
Who takes
80%.
the 80% takes the blame, right? Now, fine.
Take the bulk of the blame.
Yeah, a farmer has gone to the farm,
Yeah.
has farmed Gary, since we are not capitalizing on Gary,
Yeah.
has farmed Gary, processed Gary, and now somebody needs it somewhere in FCT, Abuja of Nigeria. Someone needs it somewhere in Accra of Ghana.
Okay.
Someone needs it somewhere in Monrovia of Liberia.
Yeah.
All right? And there is no good road. So the farmer should come and do road so that he can transport he or her Gary.
That's the point.
The farmer now,
That's a
when
serious point.
when you get a road, there is no money to buy fuel. Now he said when a country is producing something in excess, they shouldn't lack. Nigeria lacks nothing better than crude. Nigeria lacks nothing better than petrol. Even though they are producing it in excess, it is even more expensive in Nigeria, where they have it excess, than it is in Togo, maybe in Ghana, that even most of the import before they started discovering oil in Ghana. But Nigeria has it in excess. Why is it like that? Because the regulatory bodies that are regulating it are very corrupt.
Wow.
You cannot leave corruption out of this. You can't blame a farmer because a farmer is not. I can go into farming, and you are in Ghana. Okay, I'm in Takoradi of Ghana, for instance. Okay, and you are in Accra of Ghana, for instance. You need Gary in Accra. In Takoradi, I produce Gary. Am I going to?
Before I turn over to Brother Samson, is Brother George, you are again holding firm on the brother on the responsibility is
government.
on the government.
They are not regulating things properly.
So that means
the regulation is not square properly.
So that means the hunger should be blamed
but to the government.
the government.
Give the people enough incentives. I can tell you that Nigerians are not lazy. I can tell you that Ghanaians are not lazy, and I can tell you there is money in farming. Even one of the best, one of good celebrities of Africa, John Dumelo of Ghana, went into farming because he had the money and other things it takes for him to even transport it from the farm, even though he doesn't have fuel. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Even some of the government personnel, the MPs, the governors, the whatever you call it, the parliament members are going into farming because they know that farming is very lucrative, and they know that they have not given you enough incentives to farm and bring the finished product out because you don't have what it takes.
Yes.
But they have what it takes.
Yes, okay.
So they go into it,
Yes, so-
and they have weaponized the lack of fuel. So they have weaponized the lack of good road. So put the blame on African government.
So can't we now conclude that, as I'm turning over to Brother George, by this your last angle, that senators, celebrities, all other politicians are now going into farming? Can't we agree with Brother George that irrespective of the fact that we should blame government, the incentive to do farming will have been played in the hands of Africans so that we can farm and be able to have our own food? Brother George. So,
Samson.
Yes, but something.
Yes. Now I want to continue from where he just stopped.
So, yeah.
Taking for example what he just mentioned, the issue of the government personnel going into farming. My point remains that not the society in general sometimes, but you are complaining of hunger by individuals. Now, if the individuals produce what they can eat first, you will not be talking about hunger.
Chocolate, not the one you are going to sell.
The one that when you want to sell, you want to make money.
Yes.
Mr. Kemp, but the one you're talking about individual, you're talking about Africa.
My point, I want to make a point. I want to make a point.
Yeah.
There was a time we had a protest in Nigeria about NSAS.
NSAS, yeah.
Yes, right.
What was it about?
What was it about? It was about policemen brutality on youths.
Okay.
Now we decided to go into that protest because of we felt that this thing is affecting us. All the youths were involved because a lot of youth are being,
or it is affecting.
it's affecting everyone.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Now the fact that we are able to go on a protest because we are directly affected by these SARS agents.
Yeah.
Can we as youths love farming to now also protest that we youths, we all have our farms and we need fertilizers? They should supply us fertilizer. They should supply us seedlings for production. We youths want to go into farming.
So you're saying that the same zeal that they influence the youth to do that mass protest,
because of where they have interest in, that is why they were able to go into. Now the same interest can be channeled to that, and then the government will now say, okay, so is it not a fertilizer? Is it not?
Let's give it to them.
Let's give it to them.
So farming will be cool.
So who has agitated for incentives of agriculture?
Why do you want to go into farming? Why do you want to have zeal to go into farming?
it is getting
when those who are even farming are not even making the profit they deserve to make because they don't have what it takes to transport it from one place to another.
But
why should I have zeal to go into farming?
By the time there are youths in the system, that is when we will now have an idea of. Now, there's one thing you must understand, that
Okay.
for example, there are people that are exploiting our old men and women in the village of their products. If you don't know, right this minute, there are people that still go to the village to buy whatever they produce
And bring it to the city
and bring it to the
because people in the
city.
village cannot bring it to the city.
Good. Now, in such situation, they are being exploited.
Yes.
How are they being
Just
exploited?
as Africa entirely.
How are they being exploited? Because they will buy at a very cheap rate and come and sell in the city.
that means they will now buy the product.
Good.
Exactly.
But when the government fixed in regulations,
That means
that the interest of a farmer will also be protected. That your price of so just like when you put price on gold, you put price on barrel of oil, you will not put the price of so kilo of garri, so kilo of beans, so it will also be standard, such that the local farmer must benefit from his or her production.
Okay. Which will be regulated by the
government.
government.
But they're not doing it.
Now, but my point is, who is driving that?
No, the thing is,
Who
the government
is driving that right now?
It is getting heated because
you
God man
have
said
to-
in the
you have to
abundance
drive-
of water the fool is thirsty.
No, and there's
Exactly. There's abundance of
the food is
incentives.
not tested. There's no abundance of
But the foods are tested because they are not involving into the
Like
fishing of
Africans will stone you.
inside the abundance of water. There's fishes inside the water.
Africans will
So all the fish that in the abundance of water is inside.
Inside.
They are not taking
They are not taking at they are just looking at the water. And
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers,
to feed the people like
we have a very
loaves of bread and
what a classic topic.
miracle working God.
In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Thank you, Brother Samson, and thank you, Superstar George, for joining me as one of the viewers. Thank you very much. let me give my esteemed guests their final parting words for the audience, either for government, either for the people. I start with Brother Samson.
Thank you very much. I think I really like this part, and I just want to make one instance. The instance I want to make is, I came out of my house one day and I noticed that there is a tomato growing in front of my shop. Let's say beside my building.
Okay.
There's a tomato growing.
Okay. Yeah.
So over time, maybe like 2 months, if not even less, let's say 3 months at most.
Okay.
These tomatoes have started bearing fruits. You see? Then the fruits in this, the fruit that came out from this one single tomato, I don't know how to quantify it. You know, olonka in Ghana,
Yeah.
I have like 2 olonka from just one stem of tomato. Then it brought me to be wondering, like, is this not the same tomato that we're buying 1 seed for 2 CDs, 2 seeds for just some weeks ago? Like, see, just now tomato is very expensive. So we are just complaining because we can't really do some things that will ease our stress. Now, taking for example that if I had 4 or 10 of that times 2 olonka now, it's like 20 olonka of tomatoes.
Yeah.
And if I blend all that and steam it in the fridge, it's going to take me a very long time. We will not be complaining about the cost
Your
of
family
tomatoes.
will not have no problem
Of tomatoes.
Wow.
Now, my last statement is that let's try and cultivate the culture of planting some little things that we need.
Owning a garden.
Owning a garden is very, very important. You cannot get everything, but at least some minor things. Because if, for example, as I have that plenty tomatoes, and I have a friend that has yam in his yam farm, he wants to come and tell me that tomato is expensive. I say, come and take one local, but if you are coming, bring 2 tubers of yam from here.
Yeah, that is it.
It will be nice.
Thank you very much.
And I think with that one, pursue hunger far away without blaming government or blaming anybody. Then lastly, please, let me just say this. Lastly, until the youth take it serious, it cannot move, because our fathers and mothers cannot drive any policy. It's the youth and the young ones that can drive policy. And we all know that agriculture is beneficial. It's a bloodstream of some countries.
Thank you.
So we should try and involve in agriculture so that we can drive our policies as youths through the right channels and make agriculture better for Africa and the whole world.
Thank you very much. Brother George, we want to give you the opportunity to give your parting message to the audience.
All right, thank you, lovely viewers. It's been an interesting one. My own parting words go straight to the government of Africa. Dear Mr. President, dear Minister of Agriculture, are you proud of yourself over how things and affairs are being run in your country? Are you doing enough, first of all, before you push the blames to the youth? Before you call the youth lazy, have you made provisions? If these youths were you in your younger age, and you now was someone else, and someone else is doing this, handling affairs the way you're handling it, would you be very comfortable with it? That is the question I leave you with. And to my dear youths of Africa, stand strong. Africa is for us and for no one else. Peace and love.
Thank you very much, Brother George and Brother Samson. I think viewers, you will agree with me that these 2 eminent personalities digested this topic extensively. So, an African continent, you see, somebody was telling me that somebody will leave the fruits behind the garden or the vegetable. He run to the mall to go buy food that will give him cancer. So our brother said right in front of his house, he was able to harvest 2 olonka. Just imagine if he decided to establish a garden. You can be a gardener. If you don't want to be a farmer, please try to be a gardener. Once again, this is Brother Gabriel Ishmael Jallo as I borrowed. I think he has yes.
And also, please, I forgot to mention our movie Tripod, where we also promoted agriculture, trying to make an instance. And our honorable moderator here was a character in the movie.
Yes.
And he was the one that gave agriculture a.
Please don't wait to be told. That movie will soon be out. You will see what we are talking about.
Okay.
Once again, we close with this very, very, very powerful sentence from the late legend. In the abundance of water, the food is thirsty. Thank you very much.